Ladies and gentlemen, we have gotten a response on the Fitment Industries situation in almost comedic fashion. I'd actually just uploaded my video last night, and first thing this morning I got a comment on that video asking if I had seen the video from the Hamilton collection, and I knew immediately this was going to be a response to the Fitment Industries situation, but thankfully I had some time today to sit down and film a follow-up video to that, and I think it's pretty important because Steve Hamilton, one of the OGs and owners of Fitment Industries and all the other different companies that fell under that umbrella, made a response video and was extremely open, and I have to give him massive props for being how open he was about everything related to the business and everything that was going on in the marketing department. That type of openness is not something you get very often on social media, especially when it's coming from a business owner of a large business like that. If you guys actually haven't seen the video posted on the Hamilton collection, I'm gonna have a link to it down below. I strongly urge you guys to go check it out. Everything in this video is in response to that video about the situation with Fitment Industries and a lot of the well-known employees stepping away from the company. So the start of the response I think is very interesting and extremely important to everything that's going on. Steve had taken a moment to explain the whole history of Fitment Industries and the different companies that are involved. I think it's extremely important that he did that because it gives us a large part of the backstory and gives us all an idea of how we ended up here today with Fitment Industries and all these other different companies involved in what he called a wheel conglomerate. I touched on it in my last video about how much Fitment Industries has scaled, and he explained it really well in this about how fast everything has changed. And he explained that I had pretty much hit the nail on the head about how the YouTube has helped Fitment Industries scale as much as it has. And he had actually talked about how the marketing department had controlled a majority of the company. And as far as a business goes, that's definitely not something you want when one department controls a majority of how the company does revenue-wise. And in this case, with it being the marketing department and a majority of their marketing being on social media and YouTube, that's definitely a risky place to put your business and your revenue because we all know how crazy social media can be and how fast things can change overnight. To back it up a little bit, Steve had actually talked about how the company has had some ups and downs over the last few years with COVID and everything going on. And it has actually started to struggle a little bit again here lately with us not going into a full recession, but the economy is definitely feeling the effects coming out of COVID. Interest rates are going up, there's less money out there for people to spend, and that combined with the fact we've already had supply issues over the last few years, it has definitely put a large strain on the economy and in this case on Fitment Industries. Steve had also mentioned that because of this, employee numbers have went up and down over the last few years, as it would with a business. Businesses have to scale appropriately, and this goes to show that Fitment Industries is no different. Just because they've been successful in creating an environment where everyone seems to be extremely friendly with each other and work well together, that doesn't mean that they're immune to just not making changes in relation to the amount of revenue and the way the economy is going. And that is actually some of the speculation that's coming out of this. People are actually speculating that one of the main reasons these people could be stepping away is actually a reduction in salary or pay. And I think that that's a reasonable conclusion to come to. Although it wasn't mentioned in the response from Steve Hamilton and it wasn't mentioned in any of the videos from the employees that have left like Gels, Dakota, or Alex, I think that could be one of the realistic options that plays into this whole situation because Steve did mention in this video that they're willing to do what they have to do to ensure that the company scales appropriately and remains in the positive. And he had actually also talked about the analytics showing that the type of content some of these people were doing in the marketing department just wasn't producing the amount of views needed, which has led to Fitment Industries having to make some changes in the marketing department as most companies would have to. It was also mentioned in the video that some people wanted to be more of a personality on the video, which kind of ties into what I talked about in the last video, and that some people do well when they're allowed full creative control and they don't do very well when put into a box and given an agenda. But at the end of the day, this is a business and that's what they're gonna have to do to make sure that they get the traction that they want and ultimately help boost revenue for Fitment Industries. All in all, I think that this is just a situation where you have a company and employees who had a different direction on how the workflow should go and creative differences, and ultimately that led to them going their separate ways. I think for the individuals that left, I think this is great because it gives them full creative control on their personal YouTube channels, and I think we're gonna see some great car content out of it and some awesome collaborations. I think it's great for the community because we now get to see them go out and do their own thing, and it gives us some awesome reputable creators that we know can make good content. And for Fitment Industries, I think this is going to work out well for them too because they're going to now have the opportunity to bring in people that are on the same page and have that same creative direction that they do. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Keep an eye out for what Gels and Dakota do, and obviously keep an eye out for what Fitment Industries does next. Hopefully we see some good content for all of them for the car community, but I'll see you guys in the next one.